Like Simon mentioned, not many of you will know me, but I was actually sitting in one of those chairs not too long ago, 3 years to be precise. And I can relate to what every one of you is feeling right now. You know, the sense of excitement, the sense of pride, but a little bit of anxiety as well, which is understandable. So I'm here to tell you that in the words of the famous street poet, activist, novelist, and most importantly, songwriter, Bob Marley, everything's going to be all right. And to be honest, the fact that I'm standing up here should give all of you hope, okay? But in all seriousness, it's a real privilege and honor of mine to be back here and speak to a graduating class of an institution that I hold so close to my heart and really is the bedrock of who I am today personally and professionally, and you'll realize that over time. It's also such a privilege to be receiving an honorary degree, both Tillman and I, as we give the speeches today. We're not? It's just a speech. Okay, because Ellen DeGeneres got one when she gave her speech, so. But in all seriousness, when I remember my graduation day, and the day flew by really quickly. So what I tried to do is amongst all of the words of wisdom that were mentioned on the day, I try to carry with me certain key takeaways, okay? So what I'd like for all of you to do for me is just remember 3 numbers and the messages that go along with them. There's the number 4, the number 40, and the number 440. Let's start with the number 4. Now, you're obviously aware that graduating has its privileges. And I might be a little bit biased, but one of the major privileges you will have is you'll join one of the best alumni that exists today. And we come from different walks of life, but there are still certain qualities that bind us together and truly make our squad unique. So here are 4 of those qualities. Firstly, we tend to pride ourselves on our diversity of thought. We tend to ask questions that haven't been asked before. We create startups that shake up industries. We don't do things because that's the way they've always been done. Now, does this always help us make friends everywhere we go? Maybe not. Does this more often than not help us buy expensive cars and houses? Yeah. Think about it. Secondly, we're always evolving. We're always on the go. You know, we're never static. We're never happy being just where we are. We're always thinking of the next step. I'll give you an instance. My class, 2016, a night out was never just Trishli. There was Trishli, and then backstage, and then Caliente, and then back to backstage, and then a couple of other places which just seemed like a blur the next morning. Always on the go. Thirdly, is we like to give back to the institution in the same way the institution has given to us. I mean, I myself bought like 6 different sweatshirts from the university store, and if that isn't given back, I don't know what is. And finally, and this is important, we really value our culture and our heritage. Now, I'm not sure all of you are aware, but we have a common tradition out of the MBA, where the graduating class actually tips the alumni speaker a couple of $100 because he or she has done a great job. And if you guys want to keep up with that, then fair play to you. But with all that being said, I speak on behalf of the entire alumni when I say we're excited to have you on board. And we know we'll be so much better and stronger because of every single one of you. Now, why the number 40 is important to me is because I remember standing up here at my graduation, actually, and speaking on behalf of my class, all 40 of my classmates. And I remember saying on the day that no one ascends to the very top alone. And I couldn't think of 40 other people that I would rather climb the summits of life with than the 40 of them. And I meant every word. You see, life is not the same when you get to the top on your own. And this actually brings me back to a famous quote by Al Pacino from one of my favorite movies, And no, it's not Say Hello to My Little Friend from Scarface. It's another movie called Any Given Sunday, where Al Pacino basically plays the role of a football coach, and he's talking to his team at halftime. And he tells them about the importance of winning together. So what he said to them is, life, just like football, is a game of inches, because the margins are that small. So when you look to your left and to your right, what you should see is someone who's willing to fight for those inches just as much as you are. Because what counts at the end of the day is not the inches in isolation, but the real difference between winning and losing is when you combine them all together. So don't be afraid to rise, but trust me, it's a lot better to rise together. And finally, in keeping with today's theme in terms of who we are tomorrow begins with what we do today, I'd like to talk to you about the importance of having the right mindset. You see, for me, I think your mindset is everything in life. Your thoughts are powerful. If you think you can't do something, chances are you won't. If you think you can't run fast, you will be slow. If you think you can't remember, your mind won't even try. But if you think you can, the possibilities are endless. If you think you can jump, your legs will get stronger. Your mindset really counts for everything in today's world. And so I'd like to talk to you about a little incident that I had, a run-in with a peculiar fellow a couple of months ago. So I was at a networking event, and it was a little bit of an upscale event, so everyone was well dressed. But there was one particular individual standing by himself in the corner of the room, not talking to too many people. So I said I'd go up to him and find out his story. So we had a little chat, and he noticed my watch, and he said, well, that's a nice piece of jewelry you have on, but mine's a lot better. He said, mine can actually tell me where I am and what time it is at any moment, without me even having to look at it. So I wanted to see this watch, and I looked at both his wrists. He had nothing on, which was strange at the time. We continued to talk, and then he told me about how he likes to travel the world. He's an adventurous guy, and about how one particular time, he actually found himself lost in the Amazon for a couple of days. And that's when he said his watch really came in handy. He said to me, my watch is up here. And when I was lost in the Amazon, when I really had to rely on my basic instincts to survive, every time I needed to know where I was or what time it was, my watch told me the place is here and the time is now. And that's what I'd like all of you to remember. When you walk out those doors at 4:40 this afternoon with your well-deserved degrees in your arms, remember this. The place is here and the time is now. So I'll leave you with this, with the lessons of all of those that I've taught you, and the strength of all of those that are waiting to welcome you, and the love of all of those that stand beside you. I say to you, the class of 2019, your time is now. Thank you very much for having me be a part of your special day. Congratulations.